John Bel Edwards announces shelters opening for Tropical Storm Barry evacuees. State politics. Government. John Bel Edwards, ahead of Tropical Storm Barry, St. Bernard Parish. Government. John Bel Edwards, ahead of Tropical Storm Barry, St. Bernard Parish. The state began opening shelters to house evacuees from coastal parishes as government. John Bel Edwards said he anticipates Barry to come ashore Saturday morning as a Category 1 hurricane near in Morgan City, A. Undercurrent predictions, which likely will change in coming hours, 1 to 3 feet storm surges are expected far inland via Lake Pontchartrain and Lake Maurepas, which will exacerbate problems from already swollen rivers and bayous. The storm is expected to be a mostly an extreme rain event, with up to 15 inches of rain falling over much of the state, maybe a couple of feet of water in certain localized areas, the governor said. The heaviest rains are. It's the first time a hurricane made landfall in Louisiana while the Mississippi River is at flood stage. It isn't just the Mississippi River, we have elevated rivers across Louisiana, Edwards said. We don't have to wait. Tropical Storm Barry continued to crawl across the northern Gulf of Mexico on Thursday afternoon as an unorganized system that's giving forecast. Local officials already have called for evacuations in parts of Calcasieu, Lafourche, and Plaquemines parishes. Jefferson Parish, the Department of Children and Family Services has activated 150 staffers to coordinate shelter needs, such as food, security, and pet shelters. DCFS 25 bus drivers are in Plaquemines Parish for point-to-point evacuation operations, largely to Monroe. Mandatory Ouachita Parish is gathering 14,000 bottles of water and 500 blankets for the Monroe shelter that is housing Plaquemines Parish evacuees. The state also is opening the Louisiana State Emergency Mega Shelter on U.S. Highway 71 in Alexandria. In East Feliciana Parish, near Baton Rouge, authorities are asking residents and businesses near the flood-prone Amite River to leave. Commissioner of Administration Jay Dardenne announced state offices would be closed Friday in 32 South Louisiana parishes. Acting FEMA Administrator Pete Gaynor and Edwards spoke Thursday morning. The governor sent a "Can't see" video below. Click. Edwards left the command center Thursday afternoon to tour Chalmette, New Orleans, and Morgan City. And New Orleans this afternoon. Agriculture Commissioner Mike Strain said, "We are notifying all of our livestock and farmers to make preparations to move their livestock and equipment to higher ground." He said Strain said it was good that the state didn't open the Morganza spillway, which would have raised the level of water into the Atchafalaya Basin, and caused more severe flooding deeper into the interior of Louisiana when the hurricane comes ashore near Morgan City, where the Atchafalaya empties into the Gulf. The approach of Tropical Storm Barry has forced a number of closures in the Baton Rouge area. Forecasters have 15 production platforms and 4 drilling rigs in the Gulf of Mexico were evacuated Wednesday and more are shutting down Thursday, according to the U.S. Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement. Crude oil prices. 3,000 soldiers already are working on the levees and are moving into the expected path of the hurricane south of Lafayette. High-water vehicle and boat staging locations include Lake Charles, Abbeville, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Roads, Coushatta, Bossier City, New Orleans, Camp Beauregard, the Plaquemine Armory, Esseler Airfield, and Hammond Airfield. Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority is pre-positioning pumps in Grand Isle, as well as Plaquemines, St. Bernard, and Mayor-President Sharon Weston Broome will hold a press conference at 3 p.m. today to update the public on city-parish preparations and possible tropical storm watches already have been posted for Orleans, Ascension, and Livingston parishes along with most of the Florida parishes and the river parishes south of Baton Rouge. Though predictions are likely to change between now and Saturday, the current path hauntingly follows previous hurricanes, which left much of South Louisiana without power for weeks. Since 2010, Entergy Louisiana, which services more than 1 million customers in this state, has constructed 16 new transmission lines, rebuilt 21 existing transmission lines, which move electricity from generating plants, and storm-hardened nearly 25 substations, where the power is distributed to the lines that go to residential and commercial customers. In addition, Entergy has completed 13 reconfiguration projects, which adds more access to areas that had been isolated with only one line bringing in power. We are urging our customers to monitor the storm's path, follow the direction of local authorities and be ready to implement their own storm plans if needed, said Philip May at Wednesday's Public Service Commission meeting. Utility crews are mobilizing near the areas that could be impacted so they can respond to any outages that may occur, May said. The path is also worrying homeowners whose houses flooded in the August 2016 storm that dumped more than 20 inches of rain in several South Louisiana parishes from Lafayette to Baton Rouge to Hammond. 13 people died. Republican State Republic. Valerie Hodges, 90% of her Livingston Parish House district flooded in 2016. But rain prediction, we'll have some homes flooding, that I can be sure of, but I don't think it's going to flood the whole community, Hodges said. She has worked on getting money that would mitigate flooding the East Feliciana Street. Helena, East. For instance, money has been found to complete the Comite Diversion Project, which sends floodwaters to the Mississippi River rather than into Baton Rouge area neighborhoods. But the construction, so the situation is similar with the key difference that her constituents know what to expect. My phone has been ringing off the hook, Hodges said, adding that she spends a lot more time looking at that lake behind her house when it rains. And I am not a stay in the know about the biggest news in Louisiana politics. Sign up today for our newsletter. Email Mark Ballard at Tropical Storm Barry formed in the Gulf of Mexico Thursday, prompting locals and officials to press on with preparation for the anticipated heat. Story continued below. Email notifications are only sent once a day, and only if there are new matching items. News tips. Other questions.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.